Does anybody still think that, okay, you go on to Google and you type something on Google and the machine just spits out an answer, okay, mechanically, and nobody on the other end, nobody gets to read what you've typed in? Do you still have that impression? Well, if you still have that impression, you're going to be disappointed, okay? Because this is not the case, okay? So, I guess a message has to be sent, okay? A message has to be sent that in an entirely non-conventional era, we must stick to conventions, we must stick to legislation, we must stick to international law, okay? We must be conventional, we must be meta-conventional if you really want that phraseology. We must be meta-conventional in an entirely non-conventional era, okay? So, when a ship arrives in a port, so a ship is allowed to go through channels of navigation. That applies to airplanes too. So you disembark in a port or an airport, and you're supposed to show acts of identification in the port or airport in question, okay? And that act of identification should be a passport, okay? So that's kind of like a message which had to be sent, okay? We must stick to conventions, guys, okay? And all right, there's certain things happening. For example, the American Empire. The American Empire shows total disregard towards its subjects, basically. That is what I believe. Okay, there exist many poor Americans living in trailer parks, things like that, white trash kind of thing. Yeah, and the middle class is non-existent, and there exist some rich folks that do all of the business, and they engage in dodgy type of stuff. Very, very dodgy type of stuff, like cannibalism or processed cannibalism. Yeah. So the American Empire shows a lot of disregard towards its subjects, and they host the Silicon Valley over there on their own territory, and they claim the Silicon Valley is a national interest when in fact it isn't. The Silicon Valley and the projects they are developing over there are not of national interest to the United States. They are of corporate interest to various guys that hold the dollars, various investors. All right. So I guess Bitcoin, technology, like all of the email servers that exist to date are on Gmail. Okay. So all of the companies that I know of, including Victoria University of Wellington, including the Australian Army, they have their email servers on Gmail, okay? And so and they do think that nobody will going to read their emails, when in fact this is highly incorrect.